Welcome back. Let's get artsy. Chris Taylor is a certified Bob Ross instructor in Muncie, Indiana. The famed late artist turned TV star mentored Taylor and often invited him to the television studios to watch the taping of The Joy of Painting. Chris shares with us how their friendship would go on to influence his life.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Success Story.
I want to show you a picture that a young man did, a couple of them in fact, named Chris, that lives right here in Muncie, Indiana. Can you believe this? He brought these in and let me look at them because he won the contest, and you can certainly see why. Chris, you're doing fantastic.
We are in downtown Muncie, Indiana at my studio and gallery, and today we are painting like Bob Ross. And of course, he filmed his show, The Joy of Painting, right here in Muncie, Indiana. I've been painting for over 30 years, and I started painting like most kids, being artistic and doing crafts. My grandmother and I enrolled in a painting class in nearby Yorktown, Indiana. Wasn't in Bob's style, it was just traditional oil painting, but we did do a landscape in that class. And the instructor in that class said, "Chris, you need to bring that painting back on Saturday and meet Bob." And so as the kid who watched Bob Ross on PBS growing up, and the reason why my grandmother and I really started painting, I was like, you mean Bob? That Bob? She's like, yeah, he'll be here on Saturday. Come in and say hello. I think he'd like to meet you. So I went back on Saturday with my little painting and I met Bob, shook his hand, and I remember everything from that moment as if it was just kind of magical in a way. You didn't realize how magical it was at the time until many years later. But we struck up this friendship and a mentorship. We would paint together. He would invite me into the studio at WIPB to watch The Joy of Painting being filmed. And so he saw something in me at that time that I certainly didn't see in myself. We just kind of sparked the love of painting. Everyone always asks me if Bob was the same in real life as he was on television, and my answer is absolutely. He didn't change at all. It was the same demeanor, it was the same attitude, it was the same soft-spoken style. He was always the encourager and always found positivity in anything. And so yeah, he was exactly the same, whether the lights and the cameras were rolling or they were off and he was drinking some iced tea on the steps of WIPB. So as I said, I met Bob when I was in high school and then wanted to pursue being a certified Ross instructor. In fact, when I was in high school, he wanted me to do it then. He's like, "Chris, you're good enough. You need to do this." And so I was, but I also wanted to do radio, TV work, and television production. And I'm from Muncie, not only where Bob was at and where The Joy of Painting was filmed, but also where one of the top media schools is. But as I was entering my senior year in college, I got the phone call in 1995, July 4th, 1995, that Bob had passed from complications from lymphoma. Never knew he was sick. Never shared that he was sick. He kept that very, very private, at least around me. And so when I got that phone call, my focus kind of changed a little bit, because then it was, well, I was going to do this and I was going to be a certified instructor, work in TV. But at that point, I had lost my friend and my mentor, so painting wasn't really fun for me then. So I got fully engaged in television and sports production at Ball State. And then life happens fast after that. There are no free weekends, there are no free evenings in sports production or television production for that matter. But somewhere around 2018 or so, there's an organization here in Muncie called Minnetrista, and the original WIPB was at Minnetrista, which is just a few blocks down the road. And they had the idea of creating a Bob Ross experience. And so they had reached out, knowing my relationship with Bob and knowing that I was local. And that kind of sparked the interest a little bit, to be honest with you. Joan Kowalski, who is now the president of the Bob Ross Company, she had remembered me from those days. She was around then as a youngster as well. She was like, Chris, Bob always wanted you to do this. Bob always wanted you to do this. I'm like, I know. She's like, let's get you certified so you can do this and you can teach. And so we did. And now I've been painting and instructing for the last maybe 4.5, 5 years. Most people come in and the common thing is they'll say, oh, I'm not any good at art. I can't even draw a stick figure, those sorts of comments. And I'm like, well, great, because we're not drawing stick figures, we're painting a landscape. And usually after they get going, they start to just kind of loosen up. I hope that I'm the same kind of person that Bob was for them that he was to me. And so I think hopefully there's a comfort there. I'm an encouraging instructor. I try to help. I try to help where I can. But I think they start to see that, okay, I might be able to like leave here today with a painting. And then by the time they get to the end, they're like, wow, I did that today. And I'm like, yeah, so if you get a few materials and some paint brushes, think about if you were to continue to do this. And so what happens is, I think they find the joy, I really do. Well, being a certified Ross instructor has certainly given me a new life in my art, I guess. I think there's a side of me that believes and knows I can also become like a master trainer of the Bob Ross style. There's only a few of those, really 2, maybe 3 in the world. I would like to continue to enhance my skills and maybe move into being one of those master instructors someday if I was to be afforded that opportunity. Well, I could never not do it because it's such a part of who I am, and you know, again, painting for over 30 years, and I have such fond memories of growing up and painting with my family and my grandmother, and I used to do my own Bob Ross shows in the basement where I would paint as a kid, and my mom or my dad or someone would film me on the VHS and I would do the whole show. And I just have so many fond memories of those things. But I think what keeps me doing it is getting to show people truly the joy of painting. You know, this isn't crazy, like not really fine art or anything, but the more you do it, you can perfect it and do some really crazy things with the knife and the brush. And so I love seeing that joy from someone when they do make a happy little tree and they're like, wow, it looks like a tree. Or they have a happy accident and I'm like, don't worry, it's not a mistake, we can fix it. Like those things that you know so much from Bob, I love that. That's kind of the little thing that, you know, setting up and cleaning all the brushes, yeah, that's one thing. But when you see someone and the light goes off or they have true joy, even if for that day they escaped for 2 or 3 hours and they painted up a landscape, that's pretty cool to see. And to know that I can influence that I can lead that I can encourage that, that's really fun.
You too can paint like Bob Ross. Chris Taylor has a number of workshops coming up in his downtown Muncie art studio. Follow our QR code. We'll show you how to connect with him. Join us next week. We have highlights of this year's Indiana Black Expo Summer Celebration. Meet the founders of Arrive AI and some of the ways to celebrate August as Black Business Month. Our show airs every Sunday over the air here on Wish TV and wishtv.com online. We post all of our 7 weekly segments and entire shows on BEOshow.com. Check out the extended conversations in the BENO podcast every week to get a little something extra. Thank you for spending this hour with us. Join us next week for more business equity and opportunities. Until then, I'm Scott Sander. Have a great day.
Business Equity and Opportunities is made possible by Bose McKinney & Evans, Eskenazi Health, Indy Biz Pass, Fifth Third Bank, Long John Silver's, and Lilly, a medicine company.